Thunder rumbles across the endless African plains as storm clouds gather on the horizon. Lightning illuminates the vast expanse of golden grassland, revealing thousands of wildebeest moving like a living river across the landscape. The Maasai Mara exists in a state of constant transformation. It's 1,510 square kilometers, serving as nature's greatest amphitheater. Here, the changing seasons orchestrate a drama that plays out across rolling hills, seasonal rivers, and vast grasslands that stretch to the horizon. Each season brings its own cast of characters, its own struggles, and its own moments of triumph. Confrontations define life in the Mara. The predator-prey relationship here is not simply about survival. It is about the delicate balance that has shaped this ecosystem for thousands of years. Yet the Mara is not just about conflict. It is also about adaptation, cooperation, and the incredible resilience of wildlife. The landscape itself tells the story of seasonal changes. During the wet season, the Mara transforms into a green paradise, with grass growing so thick and lush that predators struggle to hunt effectively. Rivers flow with clear water, and seasonal marshes appear seemingly overnight. The dry season paints a different picture entirely, turning the grasslands golden brown and forcing animals to concentrate around permanent water sources, creating natural theaters for dramatic wildlife encounters. Welcome to the Maasai Mara, Kenya's most spectacular wildlife sanctuary, where the ancient dance between predator and prey unfolds across 4 distinct seasons, each bringing its own challenges, opportunities, and transformations to the creatures that call this remarkable ecosystem home. The dry season has settled over the Maasai Mara like a golden blanket. Morning mist rises from the Mara River as the first rays of sunlight pierce through scattered acacia trees. The air carries the scent of dust and dry grass, punctuated by the distant calls of arriving wildebeest. Temperatures drop significantly during winter nights, sometimes reaching as low as 10 degrees Celsius, forcing many animals to seek shelter and warmth. Yet as the sun climbs higher, the day warms quickly, often reaching 26 degrees Celsius by midday. This is the season of anticipation, when the Mara prepares for one of nature's greatest spectacles. The stage is set, the cast is assembling, and the drama is about to unfold. A massive shadow moves across the golden grassland as a matriarch elephant leads her family group toward the Mara River. Her tusks, worn smooth by decades of stripping bark and digging for water, catch the morning light as she pauses to test the air with her trunk. Behind her, 3 generations of her lineage follow in single file, their massive feet leaving deep impressions in the dust. The matriarch weighs nearly 6 tons, her wrinkled skin telling the story of countless dry seasons survived. River crossings navigated and predators faced. Her trunk, containing over 40,000 muscles, moves constantly, gathering information about her environment through scent, touch, and taste. She can detect water from several kilometers away and sense the vibrations of distant storms through her feet. During winter in the Mara, elephants face unique challenges. The dry conditions mean that water sources become precious commodities, often requiring long journeys between drinking spots. The matriarch's memory becomes crucial during these times, as she recalls the locations of seasonal waterholes, salt licks, and the safest river crossing points from decades of experience. The family reaches the riverbank where the red-brown waters of the Mara flow sluggishly between muddy banks. The matriarch descends carefully, her massive weight causing the bank to crumble slightly beneath her feet. She wades into the water until it reaches her chest, then submerges her trunk completely, drawing up over 200 liters of water in a single drinking session. Her youngest calf, barely 2 months old and still covered in the coarse hair of infancy, stays pressed against her side. The calf has not yet learned to use its trunk effectively and must kneel awkwardly to drink directly with its mouth, a vulnerable position that requires constant protection from the family. As the elephants drink, their presence transforms the riverbank into a hub of activity. Cattle egrets pick ticks from their thick skin, while yellow-billed oxpeckers perform the same service, their sharp calls warning of approaching danger. The relationship between elephants and these birds exemplifies the interconnectedness of the Mara ecosystem during winter's harsh conditions. The matriarch suddenly lifts her head, trunk extended and ears flared. Her acute hearing has detected something beyond human perception. In the distance, a low rumble echoes across the plains, the infrasonic communication of another elephant family several kilometers away. She responds with her own rumble, a complex message that conveys information about water availability, danger levels, and family status. Winter in the Mara tests elephant families in multiple ways. Food becomes scarce as the grass dies back, forcing them to strip bark from acacia trees and dig for roots with their trunks and tusks. A single adult elephant requires up to 300 kilograms of vegetation daily, making the search for food a constant occupation during the dry season. The matriarch leads her family away from the river, following ancient pathways worn deep by generations of elephant passage. Their route takes them past a series of termite mounds, each one a complex city housing millions of insects. The elephants pause to investigate these structures, using their tusks to break open sections and access the protein-rich termites within. As evening approaches and temperatures begin to drop, the elephant family seeks shelter in a grove of fever trees along a seasonal watercourse. The matriarch positions herself and the other adults on the periphery while calves rest in the center, a defensive formation that has protected elephant young for millennia. The night sounds of winter in the Mara begin to emerge as darkness falls. Lions roar in the distance, their calls carrying across the cooling air. Hyenas whoop and cackle as they begin their nocturnal hunts. Through it all, the elephant matriarch remains alert, her massive ears constantly moving to catch the slightest sound that might indicate danger to her precious family. With the fierce intensity of winter's predatory dramas unfolding across the Mara, many smaller creatures find refuge in the relative safety that daylight hours provide. One of the most remarkable among these is a bird that stands nearly as tall as a human child, moving with stately grace across the golden grasslands. The secretary bird, with its distinctive black crest feathers flowing behind its head like a Victorian clerk's quill pen, represents one of Africa's most unique aerial predators. This particular male stands 1.3 meters tall on powerful legs adapted for terrestrial hunting. His crest feathers, which give the species its distinctive name, flutter in the winter breeze as he surveys his territory from atop a fever tree. Unlike most raptors that hunt from the air, Secretary birds are primarily ground-based predators, using their incredible leg strength to stomp dangerous prey into submission. The winter landscape of the Mara provides ideal hunting conditions for secretary birds. The dry grass offers excellent visibility across vast distances, while the concentration of prey around water sources creates abundant hunting opportunities. His territory encompasses nearly 50 square kilometers of open grassland, thornbush savanna, and rocky outcrops. He launches himself from the tree with powerful wing beats, his impressive wingspan of over 2 meters carrying him in a low glide across the plains. Secretary birds are capable of soaring to great heights on thermal currents, but this male prefers to hunt on foot, using his exceptional eyesight to spot prey from ground level. His primary targets during winter include snakes, lizards, small mammals, and insects that become concentrated in remaining areas of suitable habitat. The secretary bird's snake hunting abilities are legendary throughout Africa, with individuals capable of killing venomous species including cobras, puff adders, and mambas through precisely delivered kicks from their powerful legs. A movement in the grass catches his attention as a puff adder lies coiled near a termite mound. The snake, nearly 2 meters long and as thick as a man's arm, represents both significant danger and substantial nutrition. The secretary bird approaches with cautious steps, his neck extended and crest feathers raised in a display of alertness. The confrontation unfolds with lightning speed. The puff adder strikes with typical viper aggression, its fangs extended and venom glands fully engaged. But the secretary bird's reflexes, honed by millions of years of evolution, prove superior. He leaps backward with surprising agility, avoiding the strike by mere centimeters. The counterattack comes immediately. Using his powerful legs like sledgehammers, the secretary bird delivers a series of devastating kicks to the snake's head and spine. Each strike lands with the force of a heavyweight boxer's punch, easily capable of crushing bones and rupturing internal organs. The puff adder's formidable defensive capabilities prove useless against this aerial assassin's terrestrial hunting strategy. Within seconds, the snake lies motionless, its threat neutralized by the secretary bird's precise and powerful attacks. The bird's hunting technique demonstrates the remarkable adaptations that allow different species to exploit various ecological niches within the Mara ecosystem. Winter's dry conditions make hunting easier for secretary birds in some ways, but more challenging in others. The sparse vegetation provides excellent visibility and forces prey into predictable locations. But the reduced insect activity means that alternative food sources become crucial. This male supplements his diet of reptiles and small mammals with grasshoppers, beetles, and other arthropods that remain active during the cooler months. As afternoon temperatures climb toward their daily peak, the secretary bird seeks shade beneath an acacia tree. Unlike elephants or hyenas that must actively search for water during winter, secretary birds obtain most of their moisture requirements from their prey, an adaptation that allows them to thrive in the Mara's seasonal extremes. Secretary birds are monogamous, often maintaining pair bonds for many years and sharing territorial responsibilities throughout the seasons. Their partnership becomes particularly important during winter, when successful hunting requires maximum efficiency and minimal energy expenditure. The pair will soon begin preparing for the breeding season that coincides with the arrival of the rains. Their massive stick nest, built in the crown of a thorny acacia tree, requires constant maintenance and expansion. The winter months provide crucial time for nest preparation and territorial establishment before the demands of raising young consume their energy. As evening approaches and the first stars appear in the clear winter sky, the secretary bird pair roosts together in their chosen tree. Their day of ground-based hunting concludes, but their role as sentinels of the grassland continues. From their elevated position, they can observe the movements of larger predators and the subtle changes in weather patterns that signal the approach of seasonal transitions. The first green shoots begin to emerge from the rain-softened earth as spring arrives in the Maasai Mara. Morning dew sparkles on newly sprouted grass while scattered clouds build on the horizon, promising the transformative rains that will soon reshape the entire ecosystem. The air carries a different quality now, charged with possibilities. This is spring in the Mara, a season of renewal, preparation, and the gradual intensification of one of nature's most spectacular dramas. Temperatures begin to rise with the lengthening days, often reaching 28 degrees Celsius by midday, while nights remain cool enough to require shelter. The seasonal rhythms that govern life in the Mara are shifting, and every creature responds to subtle environmental cues that signal changing times ahead. In the murky depths of the Mara River, an ancient predator lies motionless among the reeds, his prehistoric form unchanged for over 200 million years. The Nile crocodile, measuring over 5 meters in length and weighing nearly 1,600 pounds, represents the culmination of predatory evolution. His massive jaws, armed with 64 conical teeth designed for gripping rather than chewing, can generate a bite force of over 5,000 pounds per square inch. Spring brings unique opportunities for the river's crocodile population. The arriving herds of wildebeest and zebra must cross the Mara River multiple times as they follow the rains in fresh grass, creating a seasonal banquet that sustains crocodiles throughout the year. This particular male has claimed a prime territory along one of the river's main crossing points, a strategic position earned through decades of combat with rivals. His eyes and nostrils, positioned on the top of his skull, remain above the waterline, while the rest of his massive body rests on the river bottom. This adaptation allows him to remain completely motionless for hours while monitoring surface activity. His metabolism, perfectly adapted to ambush hunting, requires only one substantial meal every few months, though opportunities during migration season allow for more frequent feeding. The crocodile's skin, covered in bony plates called scutes, provides natural armor that has protected his kind since the age of dinosaurs. Scars along his flanks and tail tell the story of territorial battles, mating conflicts, and encounters with the massive hippopotamuses that share his aquatic domain. Each mark represents a survival story, a testament to the brutal competition that shapes life in the Mara River. A vibration through the water alerts him to approaching animals. His lateral line system, similar to that found in fish, detects the slightest movement in the surrounding water. Above the surface, a small herd of impala approaches the riverbank cautiously, their nervous energy evident in every step. The antelopes desperately need water, but understand the mortal danger that lurks beneath the river's deceptively calm surface. The lead female impala extends her neck to drink, her large ears rotating constantly to catch any sound of approaching danger. Her companions remain several meters back, ready to bolt at the first sign of threat. The crocodile adjusts his position almost imperceptibly, moving with the stealth that only a perfect ambush predator can achieve. Spring's changing conditions affect crocodile behavior in subtle but important ways. Rising temperatures increase their metabolic rate slightly, making them more active than during the cooler winter months. The approaching rains will soon swell the river, changing current patterns and creating new hunting opportunities, while also making prey crossings more dangerous and dramatic. The The attack, when it comes, explodes from the water with shocking violence. The crocodile's powerful tail propels his massive body upward and forward in a surge of prehistoric fury. His jaws snap shut with the force of a hydraulic press, designed to secure prey rather than kill it immediately. The missed attack sends the entire herd bounding away from the riverbank in a display of synchronized panic. The crocodile slides back into the water with barely a splash. His hunting attempt unsuccessful, but his energy expenditure minimal. This is the reality of ambush predation. Many attempts end in failure, but the energy investment is so low that even a small success rate provides adequate nutrition. His patience is infinite, refined by millions of years of evolution. As spring progresses towards summer, this crocodile will witness some of the most dramatic scenes in the natural world. Thousands of wildebeest will thunder across the river at this exact spot, creating chaos, opportunity, and spectacular displays of both courage and carnage. His presence, along with that of dozens of other crocodiles, transforms each river crossing into a deadly gauntlet that tests the survival skills of every migrating animal. The afternoon sun warms his dark hide as he basks partially submerged near the riverbank. Thermoregulation is crucial for crocodiles, as their ectothermic metabolism requires external heat sources to maintain optimal body temperature. The basking behavior also serves social functions, with dominant males claiming the best spots and subordinate individuals forced to less favorable locations. Small fish dart between his motionless legs, while water birds walk fearlessly across his back, picking parasites from his thick skin. These cleaning relationships benefit both species and demonstrate the complex interdependencies that characterize healthy ecosystems. The crocodile's role extends far beyond that of apex predator. He serves as a keystone species whose presence shapes the behavior and distribution of countless other animals. As evening approaches and the temperature begins to drop, the great reptile settles deeper into the warm water. His spring territory is established, his hunting grounds secured, and his ancient patience intact. The stage is set for the greatest spectacle in the natural world, and this prehistoric survivor will play a starring role in the drama to unfold. As the morning sun climbs higher over the Mara's golden plains, a sleek silhouette moves with fluid grace across the landscape. The cheetah, evolution's masterpiece of speed and efficiency, represents the ultimate specialist predator. This female, her coat marked with distinctive solid black spots, weighs just 100 pounds, but possesses adaptations that make her the fastest land animal on Earth. Spring in the Mara presents both opportunities and challenges for cheetahs. The arriving migration herds bring abundant prey, but they also attract large numbers of lions and hyenas, whose presence can make hunting extremely dangerous for these lightweight cats. The female must navigate this complex predator landscape while caring for 3 cubs, each now 6 months old, and beginning to learn the deadly art of high-speed hunting. Her body is a study in aerodynamic perfection. Long legs provide extended stride length, while her flexible spine acts like a coiled spring, allowing her to cover up to 8 meters in a single bound. Her small head reduces wind resistance, and enlarged nostrils and lungs provide the oxygen intake necessary for explosive sprints. Most distinctive of all are the black tear marks running from her eyes to her mouth, which reduce glare and help her focus on prey during high-speed chases. The cubs follow at a respectful distance as their mother surveys the surrounding plains from atop a termite mound. Their spots are more closely spaced than hers, and complemented by a distinctive mantle of longer fur along their necks and shoulders, an adaptation that helps them blend into tall grass and provides some protection from the elements during their vulnerable first year of life. Spring's abundance is evident everywhere. Thompson's gazelles graze in scattered groups across the grasslands, their numbers swollen by the recent arrival of youngborn during the rains. These small antelopes, weighing between 40 and 60 pounds, represent ideal prey for cheetahs. They are large enough to provide substantial nutrition, but small enough to be killed quickly and efficiently. The cheetah female identifies a promising target, a young Thompson's gazelle grazing slightly apart from the main herd. Her hunting strategy begins with careful observation and positioning. Unlike the ambush tactics of lions or leopards, cheetah hunting relies on open ground pursuit and the element of surprise created by incredible acceleration. She descends from the termite mound and begins a careful stalk, using scattered bushes and slight depressions in the terrain to mask her approach. Her movements are deliberate and controlled, each step calculated to avoid detection while closing the distance to her chosen prey. The cubs watch intently from their elevated position, absorbing lessons that will determine their survival success as adults. At 200 meters away, the gazelle raises its head and spots the approaching predator. The chase begins instantly, with both hunter and hunted exploding into motion. The cheetah accelerates from standstill to 100 kilometers per hour in less than 3 seconds, her stride pattern shifting from a standard quadrupedal gait to a rotary gallop that maximizes speed and efficiency. The gazelle, despite being built for speed itself, cannot match the cheetah's explosive acceleration. However, it possesses superior endurance and agility, advantages that become crucial as the chase extends beyond the cheetah's optimal sprint distance. The antelope begins a series of sharp turns and sudden direction changes, tactics designed to force the cheetah to overextend and exhaust her limited energy reserves. The pursuit covers over 400 meters of rough terrain, with both animals pushing their physiological limits. The cheetah's body temperature rises dangerously during the sprint, forcing her respiratory rate to over 150 breaths per minute as she attempts to cool her overheating system. Her enlarged heart pounds at nearly 250 beats per minute, pumping oxygen-rich blood to muscles operating at maximum capacity. The kill, when it comes, demonstrates the precision that separates successful cheetahs from those that starve. Using her dew claw like a grappling hook, she trips the gazelle at full speed. Before the stunned antelope can recover, the cheetah's jaws clamp around its throat, cutting off air supply and blood flow to the brain in a stranglehold that kills within minutes. The successful hunt represents only the beginning of her challenges. Spring's abundant predator population means that her kill is immediately at risk from lions, hyenas, and leopards that can easily overpower a cheetah. She must feed quickly while maintaining constant vigilance, a stress that often prevents cheetahs from consuming adequate nutrition even after successful hunts. Her cubs approach cautiously, their instincts already warning them of the dangers associated with feeding. The mother begins consumption immediately, starting with the nutrient-rich organs that will provide maximum energy return. Her eating is hurried and nervous, head lifting every few seconds to scan for approaching threats. The family manages only 20 minutes of feeding before the distinctive whooping calls of approaching hyenas force them to abandon their kill. The cheetah female leads her cubs away at a rapid trot, knowing that confrontation with the larger carnivores would likely result in injury or death. This is the harsh reality of cheetah existence. Even successful hunts often provide inadequate nutrition due to competition from more powerful predators. Spring's abundance paradoxically creates additional stress for cheetah families. While prey is plentiful, so are competitors. The female must hunt more frequently to compensate for lost kills, placing enormous energy demands on her specialized body. Her cubs, still dependent on her hunting success, face a critical period where adequate nutrition determines their chances of surviving to independence. As afternoon temperatures climb, the cheetah family seeks shade beneath a fever tree. The mother's spotted coat provides excellent camouflage in the dappled light, while her cubs practice hunting techniques on insects and small lizards. These play behaviors, so charming to human observers, represent crucial learning experiences that will shape their abilities as adult predators. As the eastern horizon begins to glow with the first hints of dawn, a pack of painted wolves emerges from their den site in the broken country near the Mara River. The African wild dog, also known as the painted hunting dog, represents one of Africa's most endangered and most successful predators. This pack of 11 adults and 4 nearly grown pups showcases the sophisticated social structure and cooperative hunting techniques that make wild dogs the most efficient hunters in Africa. The alpha female, distinguished by her slightly larger size and confident demeanor, leads the pack in their elaborate morning greeting ceremony. Each individual approaches her with submissive postures, tails tucked and ears back, reinforcing the social bonds that hold the pack together. Their distinctive coat patterns, unique to each individual like human fingerprints, flash in the early morning light as they engage in playful interactions that strengthen pack cohesion. Spring in the Mara provides ideal conditions for wild dog hunting. The scattered herds of gazelles, impalas, and other medium-sized antelopes offer abundant opportunities for the pack's specialized pursuit hunting strategy. Unlike the solitary ambush tactics of big cats, wild dogs rely on stamina, teamwork, and remarkable coordination to run down prey over long distances. Their physical adaptations reflect this hunting style perfectly. Large rounded ears provide exceptional hearing and help with thermoregulation during extended chases. Their lean build, with long legs and efficient cardiovascular systems, allows them to maintain speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour for several kilometers. Most importantly, their social structure enables hunting cooperation that dramatically increases success rates compared to solitary predators. The pack begins their morning hunt by spreading out across a front nearly 200 meters wide, a formation that maximizes their chances of encountering prey while maintaining visual contact with each other. Their hunting territory encompasses over 400 square kilometers of diverse habitat, from open grasslands to riverine forests, requiring intimate knowledge of terrain features and prey behavior patterns. A herd of impala grazing in a shallow valley becomes the focus of their attention. The wild dogs approach with remarkable stealth for such a large group, using natural cover and coordinated movements to avoid detection. Their hunting strategy depends on getting within striking distance before prey animals become aware of their presence and can organize effective escape responses. The alpha female initiates the attack with a series of sharp barks that signal the beginning of coordinated pursuit. The pack explodes into motion with military precision, each individual taking a predetermined role in the unfolding chase. Some dogs drive toward the herd from the front, while others position themselves to cut off escape routes, creating a complex tactical situation that few prey animals can navigate successfully. The selected target, a young male impala weighing about 60 kilograms, attempts to flee with the rest of the herd, but finds himself gradually separated by the dog's tactical maneuvering. Wild dogs are intelligent enough to identify weak, old, or isolated individuals within herds, focusing their efforts on prey most likely to be captured while expending minimum energy. The chase unfolds with breathtaking intensity as the pack works in perfect synchronization. The lead dogs maintain direct pursuit while others angle across the impala's escape route, forcing constant direction changes that gradually exhaust the antelope's energy reserves. Their endurance hunting strategy proves devastatingly effective, with the impala's initial speed advantage gradually eroding under the relentless pressure of multiple pursuers. Unlike big cats that rely on explosive power over short distances, wild dogs can maintain their pursuit for many kilometers if necessary. Their efficient running gait and superior cardiovascular fitness allow them to literally run their prey to exhaustion. A strategy that results in hunting success rates approaching 80%, far higher than any other African predator. The pack's feeding behavior demonstrates the remarkable social cooperation that defines their species. Unlike lions or hyenas, where dominance hierarchies determine feeding order, wild dogs share their kills with extraordinary generosity. The alpha pair feeds first, followed by other adults, but sick or injured pack members receive preferential treatment. And pups are allowed to feed alongside adults regardless of their low rank. This cooperative behavior extends beyond hunting and feeding to encompass all aspects of pack life. When the alpha female gives birth, the entire pack contributes to raising her pups, with subordinate adults serving as helpers, guards, and teachers. This reproductive strategy, known as cooperative breeding, allows wild dog populations to maximize their reproductive success, despite harsh environmental conditions. Spring's abundance benefits wild dog packs in multiple ways. The concentration of prey around remaining water sources creates target-rich environments that allow packs to hunt successfully with minimal energy expenditure. However, spring also brings increased competition from other predators attracted by the same abundant prey resources. Lions and hyenas pose significant threats to wild dogs, capable of killing adults and stealing kills through superior size and aggression. The pack must remain constantly vigilant, ready to abandon kills and flee when larger carnivores appear. As the morning hunt concludes successfully, the pack returns to their den site, where 4 nearly grown pups wait eagerly for the adult's return. The pups, now 8 months old and approaching adult size, greet the hunters with excitement, soliciting regurgitated food through submissive begging behaviors. Adult pack members respond by regurgitating partially digested meat, providing crucial nutrition for the growing youngsters. The den site itself represents a marvel of wild dog engineering and social organization. Located in an abandoned aardvark burrow that the pack has expanded over several months. The underground complex provides safety, climate control, and multiple escape routes. During the heat of the day, pack members rest in the cool underground chambers, while sentries maintain watch from elevated positions nearby. Wild dog pups remain dependent on adult care for nearly 2 years, an extended childhood that allows them to master the complex hunting and social skills necessary for pack membership. The spring season represents a crucial period in their development, as they begin accompanying adults on hunts and learning the sophisticated communication and coordination techniques that make their species so successful. As afternoon temperatures climb toward their daily peak, the pack settles into their resting routine. Adults sprawl in whatever shade they can find, while pups engage in play fighting that develops their physical skills and reinforces social relationships. The painted patterns on their coats create a kaleidoscope of colors in the dappled light filtering through acacia branches. The success of this morning's hunt means the pack can rest comfortably through the heat of the day, conserving energy for evening activities. Wild dogs are primarily crepuscular hunters, taking advantage of cooler temperatures and the activity patterns of their prey species. Their spring routine of dawn and dusk hunts maximizes success while minimizing the risk of dangerous overheating during pursuit chases. Summer arrives here with the full force of the migration. Over 2 million animals now crowd onto the reserve's grasslands, creating the greatest concentration of large mammals anywhere on Earth. The rains have transformed the landscape into a verdant paradise, where grass grows thick and green, rivers flow with clear water, and the very air pulses with the energy of countless living creatures. Temperatures soar during summer days, often exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, while afternoon thunderstorms build towering cumulus clouds that dwarf the animals below. The dramatic weather patterns create perfect conditions for the migration's most spectacular moments. The river crossings that have become synonymous with the Maasai Mara's reputation as nature's greatest amphitheater. This is summer in the Mara, when the ancient rhythms of migration reach their peak intensity, and every predator, scavenger, and opportunist converges to take advantage of the season's unprecedented abundance. In the golden light of late afternoon, a magnificent male lion emerges from the shade of a massive fig tree, his dark mane rippling in the warm breeze. At 400 pounds and measuring over 3 meters from nose to tail, he represents the apex of predatory evolution. His amber eyes survey the Mara landscape with the confident gaze of an animal that fears nothing, a true king in his domain during the season of greatest abundance. The great mane that frames his massive head serves multiple purposes beyond mere intimidation. The thick hair provides protection during fights with rivals, while also serving as a visual indicator of his health, genetic quality, and fighting ability to both competitors and potential mates. This particular male's mane, now reaching full maturity at 7 years of age, extends well back over his shoulders and down his chest, proclaiming his status as a prime territorial male. Summer in the Mara transforms the lion's world into a predator's paradise. The massive concentration of herbivores creates hunting opportunities unimaginable during other seasons, while the abundance of prey allows prides to grow larger and more successful than anywhere else in Africa. His territorial boundaries are marked by scent posts, scratch marks on trees, and the powerful roars that echo across the savanna each dawn and dusk. The male's roar, audible from up to 8 kilometers away, serves as both a warning to rivals and a beacon for his pride members scattered across their vast territory. During summer's peak abundance, maintaining these territorial claims becomes crucial as competition intensifies among the Mara's large predator population. The male's physical condition reflects the advantages of controlling prime territory during migration season. His massive frame carries no excess fat, but shows the solid muscle development that comes from regular feeding on large prey. Unlike the lean months when territorial males may go weeks between substantial meals, summer's abundance allows him to feed every few days, maintaining peak physical condition for territorial defense and pride protection. A low growl rumbles in his chest as movement in the distance catches his attention. 3 young male lions, brothers recently expelled from their natal pride, are testing the boundaries of his territory. At 4 years old, they are approaching their prime, but lack the experience and full physical development necessary to challenge an established territorial male successfully. The confrontation that follows demonstrates the complex social dynamics that govern lion society during the migration season. The territorial male advances with purposeful strides, his mane erect and tail lashing, while the 3 intruders maintain their ground with the nervous bravado of youth. Roars erupt from all 4 males as they engage in a vocal battle that carries across the entire territory. Physical contact, when it comes, is brief but decisive. The territorial male's superior size and experience quickly overwhelm the lead intruder, his powerful jaws clamping around the younger lion's muzzle in a dominance display that could easily become lethal. The submission of the challenged male ends the confrontation without serious injury, the 3 brothers retreating with their status clearly established. This territorial defense represents just one aspect of the male's daily responsibilities during summer in the Mara. His primary role involves protecting the pride's cubs from infanticidal males, other predators, and the general dangers posed by living in one of Africa's most competitive ecosystems. Male lions kill up to 80% of cubs when they take over new prides, making the territorial male's protection essential for reproductive success. As evening approaches, the male reunites with his pride at their favorite resting site beneath a grove of fever trees near the Mara River. The 4 adult females greet him with head rubbing and soft vocalizations, reinforcing the social bonds that hold the pride together. His presence provides security that allows the females to focus their energy on hunting and cub rearing rather than constant vigilance against external threats. The pride's hunting strategy during summer takes advantage of the unprecedented prey abundance. While female lions do most of the actual hunting, the male's role becomes crucial when tackling large prey such as adult buffalo or giraffes. His massive size and strength, evolved primarily for fighting other males, prove equally effective for subduing dangerous prey that might injure or kill lighter female hunters. Tonight's hunt targets a herd of zebras grazing near the river, their attention divided between feeding and watching for crocodiles in the nearby water. The pride's approach demonstrates the sophisticated cooperation that makes lions the most successful social hunters among the big cats. Females spread out in a coordinated ambush formation, while the male positions himself to block escape routes toward the river. The attack unfolds with choreographed precision, as multiple lionesses converge on a young stallion zebra from different angles. The male's contribution comes when the zebra breaks free from the initial ambush and attempts to flee toward his escape route. the lion's massive form blocks the stallion's path, forcing him back toward the pursuing females, where superior numbers quickly overwhelm his defensive capabilities. The successful hunt provides nutrition for the entire pride. With the male feeding first according to strict dominance hierarchies. His privileged access to food reflects not selfishness, but biological necessity. Maintaining his physical condition ensures his continued ability to defend the territory and protect the pride's cubs. Only after he has eaten his fill do the females and cubs approach the carcass. Summer nights in the Mara resonate with the sounds of successful predation as lions take advantage of peak hunting conditions. The male's roars, joined by those of his pride members, create a symphony of power that proclaims their success to rivals and neighbors throughout their territory. These vocalizations serve notice that the territory remains under strong leadership, discouraging challenges during the season when stakes are highest. As dawn approaches and the first light paints the eastern horizon, the great male seeks elevated ground for his morning territorial proclamation. His roar, echoing across grasslands still dotted with migrating herds, announces another successful day in the reign of one of Africa's most magnificent predators. Standing like bronze statues against the summer grasslands, a small herd of topi maintains constant vigilance over their territory. These distinctive antelopes, with their rich reddish-brown coats marked by dark patches on their legs and faces, represent one of the Mara's most specialized grazers. The dominant bull, weighing 300 pounds and standing 1.3 meters at the shoulder, surveys his domain from atop a termite mound, his lyre-shaped horns silhouetted against the morning sky. The topi's unusual proportions, with high shoulders sloping down to lower hindquarters, create a distinctive profile that reflects their specialization for sustained running rather than explosive sprinting. Their longer front legs provide extended stride length, while powerful hindquarter muscles drive efficient locomotion across the open grasslands they call home. During summer's migration peak, these adaptations prove crucial for survival in landscapes crowded with predators and competitors. Summer in the Mara presents both opportunities and challenges for topi populations. The massive influx of wildebeest and zebras creates intense competition for the high-quality grass species that topi prefer, forcing them to defend prime grazing territories with increased aggression. However, the abundance of alternative prey species also provides some protection from predators that focus their attention on more numerous and less vigilant targets. The territorial bull's behavior reflects the increased pressure of summer's competitive environment. His chosen termite mound provides an elevated observation post that allows surveillance of both approaching predators and rival topi attempting to encroach on his territory. From this vantage point, he can see for several kilometers across the relatively flat grasslands, his keen eyesight capable of detecting movement that would escape other species. His territory encompasses approximately 50 hectares of prime grassland, an area carefully selected for its combination of high-quality forage, water access, and strategic positioning relative to predator refuges. The boundaries of this territory are marked by dung piles, scent deposits, and the constant presence of the territorial male himself. During summer's peak season, maintaining these boundaries requires constant vigilance and frequent confrontation with challengers. A movement in the distance triggers the bull's alarm system as three bachelor males approach the territorial boundary. These younger topi, expelled from their natal herds but not yet strong enough to claim territories of their own, probe constantly for weaknesses in established males' defenses. The territorial bull descends from his mound with purposeful strides, his body language clearly communicating his readiness to defend his claim. The confrontation begins with ritualized displays of strength and determination. The territorial male approaches with head lowered and horns extended, while the challengers adopt similar postures in response. Topi battles rarely result in serious injury, as the species has evolved elaborate behavioral mechanisms for resolving conflicts without dangerous physical combat. The actual fight, when it occurs, involves horn wrestling rather than stabbing attacks. The four males lock horns and engage in pushing contests that test strength, balance, and endurance rather than weaponry. The territorial bull's superior condition and experience quickly assert themselves as he systematically dominates each challenger in turn, his victories reinforcing his status and territorial claim. With the immediate threat resolved, the bull returns to his termite mound, while the defeated bachelors retreat to less desirable grazing areas. This constant cycle of challenge and defense characterizes topi society during summer's competitive peak, with territorial males expending significant energy maintaining their claims against increasingly desperate rivals. The rest of his small herd, consisting of 6 adult females and their young, continues grazing nearby under his protection. Female topi benefit enormously from association with successful territorial males, gaining access to high-quality forage while receiving protection from predators and harassment from bachelor males. In return, they provide the territorial male with mating opportunities and contribute to the overall vigilance that keeps the herd safe. Topi feeding behavior demonstrates remarkable specialization for extracting maximum nutrition from grassland ecosystems. Their narrow muzzles allow selective grazing on preferred grass species, while their complex digestive systems efficiently process the high-fiber vegetation. During summer's abundance, topi can afford to be highly selective, choosing only the most nutritious grass parts and avoiding stems and leaves of lower quality. The species' role as sentinel extends beyond their own protection to benefit many other grassland animals. Topi have some of the keenest eyesight among African antelopes, capable of detecting predators at distances that allow effective escape responses. Their alarm calls, a series of sharp snorts and barks, alert other species to approaching danger, and often trigger coordinated flight responses among mixed grazing herds. A subtle change in the wind brings new scents to the territorial bull's sensitive nostrils. The musky odor of lions, mixed with the metallic scent of fresh blood, indicates recent predation nearby. His alarm call echoes across the grassland as he alerts his herd to the potential danger, their survival depending on collective vigilance and rapid response to threats. The herd's reaction demonstrates the sophisticated anti-predator strategies that allow topi to thrive despite intense predation pressure. Rather than immediate flight, they first assess the threat level through careful observation, scent analysis. Only when the danger becomes imminent do they employ their superior running speed, capable of sustaining 70 kilometers per hour for extended distances. Summer afternoons in the Mara bring intense heat that forces most animals to seek shade during the hottest hours. The topi herd moves toward a cluster of acacia trees near a seasonal stream, their movements coordinated to maintain security while accessing necessary resources. The territorial bull continues his vigilance even during rest periods, his elevated position on nearby termite mounds providing constant surveillance capabilities. As evening approaches and temperatures begin to moderate, the topi resume their intensive grazing to take advantage of the day's remaining light.
Summer's long days provide extended feeding opportunities that allow them to build energy reserves while the abundant forage lasts. The territorial bull's protection ensures that his herd can feed efficiently without the constant interruption of predator alarms and territorial disputes. The day concludes with the bull's evening territorial display, a series of runs between prominent termite mounds that reinforces his claim while advertising his continued strength to potential challengers. His silhouette against the setting sun creates an iconic image of African wildlife adapted to thrive in one of the continent's most demanding ecosystems.
The Great Migration begins its slow retreat from the Maasai Mara as autumn arrives with the promise of rains in the south. Morning mist clings to the valleys while scattered clouds build on the southern horizon, calling the vast herds back toward the Serengeti plains where the cycle will begin anew. The grasslands, cropped short by millions of grazing animals, show the signs of the season's intensive use, while predators face the approaching lean times that will test their survival skills to the limit. Temperatures begin to moderate as the seasons shift, with cooler nights providing relief from summer's intense heat. The daily rhythm of the Mara changes as the great herds gradually disperse, leaving behind a landscape that seems almost empty after months of unprecedented abundance. This is autumn in the Mara, a season of transition, departure, and the quiet preparation for the challenging months ahead. The ecological drama shifts from the spectacular to the subtle as resident species reclaim territories temporarily abandoned during the migration's peak. Predators must adapt quickly to the changing prey base, while herbivores adjust their ranging patterns to accommodate the reduced competition for grazing resources. Against the backdrop of departing wildebeest herds, a magnificent bull giraffe moves with stately grace across the Mara landscape. His towering height providing a unique perspective on the great transition taking place below. Standing nearly 6 meters tall and weighing over 1,400 kilograms, he represents the gentle giant of African wildlife, perfectly adapted to browse on acacia foliage far beyond the reach of any competitor. His distinctive coat pattern, unique to the Maasai subspecies, displays the angular patches and crisp lines that distinguish these giraffes from their relatives elsewhere in Africa. The rich brown patches, separated by cream-colored lines, provide excellent camouflage among the scattered acacia trees that dot the Mara landscape. At 15 years old, this bull has reached his prime, his massive size and dark coloration advertising his maturity and dominance to rivals and potential mates. Autumn in the Mara brings both advantages and challenges for giraffe populations. The departure of the great herds reduces competition for water resources and eliminates the chaos created by millions of migrating animals. However, it also concentrates the remaining predator populations, forcing giraffes to maintain increased vigilance as lions and leopards focus their attention on fewer available prey species. The bull's extraordinary height provides surveillance capabilities unmatched by any other African mammal. From his elevated position, he can observe predator movements, weather patterns, and the behavior of other wildlife across distances measured in kilometers rather than meters. This advantage, combined with his acute eyesight, makes giraffes one of the savanna's most effective early warning systems. His feeding behavior demonstrates the remarkable specializations that allow giraffes to exploit resources unavailable to other herbivores. Using his 45-centimeter tongue and flexible lips, he strips leaves from thorny acacia branches with surgical precision, avoiding the sharp spines that deter most browsing animals. His complex digestive system, similar to that of ruminants but adapted for browse rather than grass, efficiently extracts nutrients from vegetation high in fiber and defensive compounds. A subtle change in his posture indicates awareness of something unusual in the surrounding landscape. His massive head turns slowly as he focuses on a movement near the tree line, his excellent eyesight detecting a female leopard moving stealthily through the undergrowth. While adult giraffes face little danger from leopards, the presence of a major predator requires careful monitoring, particularly during autumn when hunting pressure intensifies. The leopard's hunt unfolds below the giraffe's watchful gaze as she stalks a small herd of impalas grazing in a clearing. The giraffe's elevated position provides a perfect view of the drama, though his peaceful nature prevents any intervention in the natural cycle of predation. His role as observer rather than participant reflects the unique ecological niche that giraffes occupy in African ecosystems. Autumn's changing conditions affect giraffes' social behavior in subtle but important ways. The reduced wildlife density allows for more relaxed interactions between individuals. With less competition for prime feeding sites and water sources, the bull's territory, which expanded significantly during the chaos of migration season, can now be patrolled more effectively as he reasserts his dominance over prime browsing areas. His massive cardiovascular system, evolved to pump blood to his elevated brain against gravity's pull, operates with mechanical precision as he moves across the landscape. Each step requires careful coordination of his long legs to maintain balance, while his 2-meter neck acts as a counterweight during locomotion. The giraffe's unique physiology represents one of evolution's most remarkable solutions to the challenges of extreme body size. A small herd of females with calves approaches from the east, their presence indicating the beginning of autumn's social reorganization. The bull's response demonstrates the complex social dynamics that govern giraffe society outside of breeding seasons. His approach is measured and non-threatening, communicating his peaceful intentions through body language evolved over millions of years. The reunion reveals the intricate relationships that bind giraffe communities together despite their seemingly solitary nature. Each individual recognizes the others through visual cues, scent markers, and subtle behavioral signals that maintain social cohesion across the vast territories that giraffes require. The autumn gathering allows for information exchange about food sources, predator activity, and environmental conditions that benefit the entire local population. One of the females carries a young calf, barely 3 months old, and already standing 2 meters tall. The youngster's proportions, with its oversized head and relatively short neck, mark it as juvenile despite its impressive size. Giraffe calves face enormous challenges during their first year, with predation rates approaching 70% due to their vulnerability during the early weeks when they cannot keep pace with adult movement patterns. The bull's protective presence provides additional security for the vulnerable calf as the herd moves toward their preferred feeding area. His massive size and intimidating height deter most predators, while his vigilant behavior serves as an early warning system for the entire group. Male giraffes, despite their reputation for aggressive competition during breeding seasons, often serve protective roles in mixed groups during non-breeding periods. The afternoon feeding session demonstrates the remarkable efficiency of giraffe browsing strategies. Each individual focuses on different sections of the same trees, their varied heights allowing exploitation of acacia foliage from ground level to the highest reachable branches. This feeding strategy minimizes competition while maximizing the group's ability to extract nutrition from their preferred food sources. As evening approaches and the African sun begins its descent toward the western horizon, the giraffe herd settles into their nighttime routine. Unlike many African mammals that seek dense cover during darkness, giraffes often rest in relatively open areas where their height advantage can be maintained even while lying down. The bull positions himself strategically to monitor potential approach routes, while the females and calves arrange themselves in a defensive formation that protects the most vulnerable individuals. The autumn night in the Mara brings different challenges than the chaotic summer months. With fewer prey animals available, predators become more focused and persistent in their hunting efforts. The giraffe herd's survival depends on constant vigilance and the coordinated response systems that have evolved over countless generations of predator pressure. Autumn in the Mara represents a season of quiet majesty for giraffes, a time when their unique adaptations shine brightest against the backdrop of ecological transition. As the great herds depart and the landscape settles into its post-migration rhythm, these gentle giants continue their ancient role as sentinels of the savanna. Their towering presence a constant reminder of evolution's endless creativity in the African wilderness. In the dappled shadows beneath a massive fig tree, a female leopard lies motionless on a thick branch, her rosette-patterned coat providing perfect camouflage among the shifting patterns of light and shadow. At 60 kilograms, she represents the ultimate solo predator, a master of stealth whose hunting prowess has adapted perfectly to autumn's changing conditions in the Maasai Mara. Her amber eyes, constantly scanning the landscape below, miss nothing as she waits with infinite patience for the perfect hunting opportunity. The leopard's physical perfection reflects millions of years of evolutionary refinement. Every muscle fiber, every sense organ, every behavioral instinct has been honed for solitary survival in one of Africa's most competitive predator landscapes. Her powerful shoulders and hindquarters provide explosive strength for climbing and killing, while her relatively compact size allows her to access refuges unavailable to larger cats. Autumn in the Mara creates ideal conditions for leopard hunting success. The departure of the great migration herds forces remaining prey species to concentrate around permanent water sources and preferred feeding areas, creating predictable hunting opportunities for ambush predators. The reduced wildlife density also means less competition from lions and hyenas, allowing leopards to feed undisturbed on their kills for extended periods. Her territory encompasses nearly 15 square kilometers of diverse habitat along the Mara River, including riverine forests, rocky outcrops, and open grasslands. This varied landscape provides hunting opportunities for the wide range of prey species that leopards require, from small birds and rodents to medium-sized antelopes, weighing up to 90 kilograms. The territorial boundaries are marked with scent deposits, scratch marks, and cached kills that advertise her presence to rivals and potential mates. Movement below catches her attention as a small herd of impalas approaches the riverbank to drink. The antelopes move nervously, their ears constantly rotating and their tails flicking in agitation as they sense the presence of predators nearby. The female leopard's hunting instincts engage immediately, her body shifting subtly into attack position as she evaluates the approaching opportunity. Her hunting strategy begins with careful selection of the most vulnerable target within the impala herd. Years of experience have taught her to identify individuals showing signs of injury, illness, or inattention that might make them easier to catch. A young male impala, focused intently on drinking and positioned slightly apart from the main group, becomes the focus of her attention. The stalk that follows demonstrates leopard hunting at its most refined. Using the thick vegetation along the riverbank as cover, she descends from her tree with fluid grace and begins a careful approach that brings her within striking distance of her chosen prey. Every step is calculated to avoid detection, her broad paws allowing silent movement across terrain that would betray other predators. At 10 meters distance, she freezes in perfect stillness as the target impala raises his head and scans for danger. The leopard's spotted coat, evolved specifically for concealment in dappled light conditions, renders her nearly invisible against the backdrop of shadows and vegetation. Her patience during this crucial moment reflects the behavioral adaptations that make leopards the most successful solitary hunters in Africa. The attack, when it comes, explodes with shocking violence from apparent emptiness. The leopard's powerful hindquarters propel her forward in a bound that covers the remaining distance in a single leap, her extended claws and open jaws targeting the impala's neck with surgical precision. The antelope's reflexes, honed by constant predator pressure, allow him to dodge sideways at the last instant, turning a killing blow into a glancing impact. The chase that follows showcases the explosive power that compensates for the leopard's relatively small size among African big cats. Her acceleration over short distances exceeds that of much larger predators, while her superior agility through dense vegetation maintains pressure on prey that might otherwise escape through speed alone. The impala bounds desperately through the thorny undergrowth, his hooves striking sparks from hidden rocks as he seeks to reach the open grassland where his superior endurance might provide salvation. But the leopard's adaptations extend beyond mere physical prowess. Her tactical intelligence, refined through countless successful hunts, allows her to anticipate the impala's escape route and position herself to intercept rather than simply pursue. The second strike proves decisive. The leopard's powerful forelimbs wrap around the impala's shoulders, while her jaws find purchase on his throat. The precision of her bite reflecting specialized anatomy designed for efficient killing. Her elongated canine teeth penetrate precisely between vertebrae, severing the spinal cord and bringing instant death to her prey. The violent struggle that began with explosive energy ends in sudden, complete stillness. The kill represents more than mere sustenance. It demonstrates the culmination of evolutionary adaptation, territorial knowledge, and hunting experience that defines leopard success in the competitive ecosystem of the Maasai Mara. Within minutes, she begins the laborious process of dragging her prize toward the safety of her favorite fig tree, where she will cache the carcass beyond the reach of competing scavengers and feed at her leisure over the coming days. Human presence in the Maasai Mara ecosystem has created a complex web of interactions that profoundly impact wildlife populations and conservation dynamics. The establishment of community wildlife conservancies has transformed traditional pastoralist lands into protected areas through land leasing arrangements, reducing available grazing territory while simultaneously creating wildlife corridors. This land use transformation has intensified human-wildlife conflicts, with livestock predation emerging as the most prevalent form of wildlife encounter experienced by local Maasai communities. The proximity of human settlements to protected areas has exacerbated these conflicts, as wildlife movements increasingly overlap with human activities and livestock grazing areas. The region's arid and semi-arid climatic conditions, combined with limited agricultural land availability due to conservation leasing, have concentrated both human populations and wildlife around permanent water sources, creating predictable conflict zones. While tourism-driven conservation initiatives have provided economic benefits to local communities through land lease payments and employment opportunities, these benefits often prove insufficient and seasonal, creating financial vulnerability among households. The dual pressures of supporting conservation efforts while managing livestock losses to predators have created a delicate balance where community conservation support depends heavily on perceived benefits versus costs. Despite infrastructure improvements like the Talek Community Health Center, which demonstrates conservation-linked community benefits, the persistent challenges of food insecurity and economic vulnerability continue to strain the relationship between human communities and wildlife conservation in the Mara ecosystem. Captivated by the incredible wildlife of the Maasai Mara? Show your appreciation by hitting that like button and telling us your favorite animal in the comments below. When you share this video, you're helping raise awareness and support the conservation of this extraordinary ecosystem. And don't forget to tap the bell icon so you're always ready for the next wild adventure from another amazing part of the planet.